My boyfriend admitted that he orchestrated our meet cute. I don't know how I feel about what he told me. I want to think it's cute that he cared this much, but it's just coming off as creepy, and I feel like I was lied to. He got drunk because we were celebrating my first successful day at my clinicals, and he ended up saying something along the lines of, "Could you believe we wouldn't be this happy if I hadn't watched you for so long?" To which I was confused and didn't know what he meant. Well, I have worked at a local library for 2 years before we met, during college, and apparently he saw me there but didn't actually talk to me. He just would watch me and listen in on my conversations with people and my coworkers to figure out what I liked. Then he apparently followed me and found the coffee shop that I frequent. All this time I thought we had a sweet first time meeting story. He accidentally bumped into me, apologized, and offered to buy me a coffee for the trouble. He told me what he was ordering, and it was the exact same thing I always get. And I thought that it was an amazing coincidence. I joked that it was fate, and we spent like an hour talking over coffee. Apparently it was similar to a scene in a book that I had read and told my coworker I had thought was cute. I'm just so frustrated and angry. I feel betrayed. Like, why would you do this? And how much of our 1.5 year relationship is a lie? Like, it sounds like he was stalking me.
Yeah, he was.
Update 1. I know a lot of you have been worried about me, and I just want to let all you know that I'm safe. Shit has definitely hit the fan, but at the moment, I'm safe. First, no, I didn't make the last edit. My boyfriend went on my phone while I was showering and trying to figure out what I wanted to say to him about everything, and he found and edited my post. Let's go read these edits. Just so we're all on the same page, I don't believe he was watching me the whole time I was working there. I think it was like the last 6 months or so before I actually met him. He's a bit of socially awkward, but he has a group of friends that he plays D&D with and hangs out with like once a week. I never really considered him going through my phone to be weird because I basically let anyone look at my phone whenever they want. I'm not worried about anyone seeing anything. I've also never really been worried about my safety with him before, but I do know that he has anger issues and has gotten into trouble for getting into a few physical fights. So for those of you worried about me, I'll be watching for any signs that I may missed.
He wrote that. He wrote that his girlfriend shouldn't be afraid because he only gets angry sometimes. That is insane.
I mainly am just upset because I feel like our relationship was built on a lie, even if it was a smallish one. He also said he was interested in a lot of the same things I was when we first met, and for a while he kept up with them. But lately he hasn't at all, and now I'm wondering if he lied about those things too.
Probably, yeah.
I definitely need to have a conversation with him, and I'm driving home now, so I'll talk with him when I get there. Thanks for all the feedback.
Is that still all edit 1, or is that...
That's all edit 1.
So he wrote all of that?
Yeah. My boyfriend admitted that he orchestrated our meet cute. First, I did not make that last edit. My boyfriend went on my phone while I was showering and trying to figure out what I wanted to say to him about everything, and he edited my post.
He even lied in that because he's like, I'm driving home. And like, why lie about that?
He then started yelling at me while I was in the shower about sharing it online and calling him creepy. At the same time, he was guilt-tripping me and telling me that it was romantic, and he did it because he loved me. He literally read a few of the comments out loud to me. He barely let me out of the shower, but I did manage to get my clothes on while he was screaming at me. What really freaked me out was that he was listing off things that he could have done to me. I won't list them here because it was extremely gruesome, and I don't think it's allowed. But he said that he didn't do those things because he's such a nice guy.
That is horrifying.
The way he described the things he could have done, though, made me feel like he had genuinely considered doing it. Also, I thought he was only watching me for a few months. Apparently, it was upwards of a year, and it was a genuine, actual stalking. He followed me home into my college campus. He pulled out a collection of my lost hair ties that he had kept.
What? During this argument is when he showed her lost hair ties?
Yeah, it's so romantic.
He thought that would win her back?
I told him that he was scaring me and that we needed to take a break and come back to it later. At that point, he put a hole in the wall next to my head. I told him that I was leaving after that because f that sh. And it was like a switch flipped and he started crying. He got on his hands and knees and begged me to stay and apologize. I ended up accepting his apology because I didn't feel safe leaving.
Okay, all right.
Yesterday morning, after he left for work, I grabbed all my important documents and irreplaceable things before my clinical started and kept them in my car. After my clinicals, I didn't go back to the apartment. I'm not going to give much more detail than that because obviously he does know my account. And for Andrew, if you're reading this, which we both know you are, please leave me alone. The person I thought I loved doesn't actually exist, and that's heartbreaking. I no longer feel safe with you like I did before, and I hate that. Update 2. They've now switched to r/legal advice for this post. Long story short, my ex-boyfriend ended up being more than a little crazy. I learned that he stalked me for over a year because we started dating, and after I learned that, he became violent. I have screenshots of the threats of violence that he sent me, as well as pictures of some of the bruises I have from him. There's also security footage of him attempting to sneak into my place of work to find me. My local police department has been generally unhelpful with their advice.
Shocker.
And they've told me that unless he's actively harming me, there's nothing they can do, too.
He is. That's the thing about it, is he is.
This is regardless of all the evidence I have that he fully intends to hurt and or they've taken statements from me and there is a report open though. Do you believe the evidence I have is sufficient to get an order of protection? And if I'm going to file one, do I need to have a lawyer?
One of our guests' wedding gifts bounced. What do we say on the thank you note?
Nothing.
I had a large 150 plus person wedding this year. We are still working on thank you notes. I invited a friend and their partner to the wedding. I haven't seen this person in a little while, but I care about them and they are part of a larger friend group that I invited. They live a little further away and either would have had a short flight or rented a car and paid for a hotel room. They definitely cared about us enough to invest in attending. They also gave us a card and wrote us a generous check. Awkwardly, the check bounced when we tried to cash it about 6 weeks after the wedding.
You waited 6 weeks to cash that check?
They were on a honeymoon.
For how long?
5.5 weeks.
That's insane.
I hemmed and hawed about what to do, then texted them something along the lines of, hey, I'm reaching out because I don't want you to have some issues with your bank. Your wedding gift check bounced. Hope you're doing okay. We are not concerned about the gift. Thank you so much for attending our wedding.
No, you shouldn't have done that.
They never responded.
Yeah, I wouldn't have either.
I didn't bring it up again because if that happened to me, I'd be embarrassed. Neither one of us has communicated with the other since. My issue now is, what do I write in the thank you note? Legitimately, their card was one of the most unique and my favorite one that I had received. Would mentioning that I really liked their card be a negative emphasis on it effectively being empty? Should I just thank them again for coming? I'm not sure what the etiquette is here. They did not resend a check. We haven't communicated since I texted with them. Also, we returned from our 2-week international honeymoon and immediately, like that day, you hauled me to my husband's house across the state and then had to retrieve cards and gifts from my parents who held them while we were on vacation. Then there were all sorts of weird caching issues with maiden names and 2 people's names on a check who hadn't figured out their joint bank account yet, so that's why there was a 6-week gap. That answer your questions?
I guess.
I think I would have in the thank you note included the, like, if you were gonna say something, do it in the thank you note. The thank you note is a period on it.
Yes.
It's like just saying like, we really appreciate the message, genuinely one of our favorite cards. Just want you to know, check didn't cash, but that's fine. Do not feel like you need to send us the money. And then it's over. But like already communicating and then also now being like, well, now I have to send them at this point, don't send them a thank you.
Am I the for banning my wife's Disney divorced friend from using plugins at our house? My wife's friend, Melissa, 49 female, is staying with us for a few weeks while she sorts her life out. We have a large home and are very happy to have house guests. She's leaving her husband after 25 years of marriage because she wants to move to LA and work at Disneyland. It sounds like the plot of a bad sitcom, but I'm afraid it's real. Both she and her husband are equally culpable for the failure of their marriage and really bring out the worst in each other. Their relationship has been in a state for as long as I've known them. The problem is Melissa showed up with an arsenal of room scents and sprays and plugins. The smells that a teenage girl with a side of forever chemicals ood to Disneyland has completely taken over the hallway, the family bathroom, my office, and even down 2 flights of stairs into the foyer. It's strong, it's nasty, and it smells like all of the chemicals that we avoid. Quick sidebar, we've been cleansing ourselves of chemical nasties and have curated our home to smell clean and subtle. It's part of what makes it feel like home. Now it just smells like the teen spirit. Melissa is genuinely lovely and is in a vulnerable spot, and I don't want to make her feel unwelcome, but it's our house and this is something we've been intentional about. Outside of her personal feelings about the plugins, it feels really out there to rock up in someone else's home and decide to bring your own plugin scents and totally change the smell of the house. I mentioned how strong the smell was, assuming it was a room spray, and how it was overtaking every room. She said, yeah, the plugins are pretty strong. I was so shocked, I asked her to remove them. I opened up with a sensitive ask, hey, those room sprays are pretty strong. Would you mind keeping the door closed if you're using them? And it spiraled a bit when I heard her say plugins, plural. My wife said I'm being an asshole for making her uncomfortable while she's going through a lot, and that I could bitch to her about it, but it was over the line to ask Melissa to stop. I was incredulous that she thought it was okay to change the scent of our house. So am I the asshole like my wife says? I feel pretty justified.
Of course you do.
This happens so much where it's like, I think he's in the right to ask, but it's such a weird thing for him to be like, you're changing the scent of the house.
Yeah,
Like,
it's curated.
it's not that important. I get why it sucks. Don't take yourself so seriously.
I told my pregnant coworker that she needs to do better. and it upset her. Bit of context, I, 24 female, work as a chef in a small cafe. One of the girls out in front of house comes to me and confides in me a lot. I consider us friends. However, she goes into crazy detail about her personal life, how people treat her, and how she treats people. I've been working there nearly 2 years, and it's ranged from her boyfriend, his son, and other things. Her now fiance has a son who he had from a previous relationship. Linda knew this before getting in a relationship with him. A lot of their arguments stem from him having a child from a previous relationship. Recently, she started telling me about how she gives out and has no patience for his little boy. He's 6, a child. The most recent vent of hers that resulted in me being quite blunt with her. Apparently, she had left the room for about 30 minutes and left her food on the bed. Her fiance's little boy went in and started to play Xbox, got hungry, and ate the food. Linda came back and sees red, immediately starts screaming at him. Then she gets really nasty and tells him that every time he's here, he's a fucking issue. And she can't get enough space from him. I don't know everything that was said, but she always talks about how she doesn't want him in the room a lot of the time, despite he only visits on weekends. I snapped. I told her she needed to grow the up and do better. I told her she knew he had a child and chose to get into a relationship with him, that it's not the child's fault that you disagree with your fiance's previous choices. The kid's mother isn't nice either, so he has a hard enough time there too. I told her she has an opportunity not only to be a great mother, but also a great stepmother to that child. What will happen when you birth your baby if you're already treating him like this? I said she doesn't get to scream and shout at an innocent child because she can't handle her emotions, and no matter how bad she feels about it, she deserves it and needs to feel it. I have no sympathy for her. She comes in saying this, that, and the other about how bad she feels after doing it, but she keeps doing it. She's been giving me the silent treatment for like 2 days. I understand I may have overstepped, but she shouldn't have asked for my opinion then.
Am I the asshole for telling my mom her husband is just the guy she cheated on my dad with? My parents divorced when I was 10 because my mom had an affair. How do I know? Because her affair partner turned husband was also married, and his wife at the time showed up at our house after the affair came out and started yelling it all over the place. My mom blamed my dad for me finding out when I was 14, and I told her I wasn't deaf and I could hear the woman outside of our house, and I also could understand what she meant when I was 10. My relationship with my mom was strained by her affair, and I don't give a fuck about her husband. He never had kids and tried to play the dad role, but I shut him out and put him in his place whenever he tried. I'd remind him that I have a dad, and he doesn't get to take me from my dad like he took my mom. It was my mom's choice and her fault too, but still, it felt extra insulting to try and play parent when he helped destroy my family and my dad's marriage. My dad died when I was 19. It was a very tense time in my relationship with my mom because I didn't tell her. She found out after my dad's funeral. A part of me was glad because I didn't want her to come to the funeral, and I certainly didn't want her there with her husband. My mom was hurt and acted like I owed it to her to let them come so that they could be there for me. I told her that their support was not wanted right now, especially not for losing my dad. Even still, she believed that her husband would become the father figure I no longer had with my dad being gone. And they both expected he would be given father of the bride honors at my wedding. Instead, I asked my grandpa, and my mom blew a fuse when she found out about this. She asked me what the hell I was thinking, and her husband has been there raising me since I was 10, and he's more to me than just some random guy. I told her she was partly right, and he's just the guy she cheated on my dad with, nothing more.
Whoa.
My mom said it was childish and vindictive way to describe him, and that I need to get the fuck over it and appreciate how hard he tries with me. She said it's like I'm trying to punish them for the affair when it was nothing to do with me. I told her this isn't a punishment. This is consequences, and she has to live with them, same way he does. She's still going crazy about me saying that, and I don't feel bad, but question if maybe I was a bit of an asshole telling her all this. Maybe? Am I the asshole for leaving my girlfriend because of a joke? I, 22 male, and my girlfriend, 21 female, have been dating for about 2 years. She's always been an amazing girlfriend, but whenever we're with people she knows, she becomes a different person. So this happened on Saturday. My girlfriend's birthday, like the boyfriend I am, I of course attend the party. At the party, she drank, and I mean drank. She's like 6 wine glasses deep because she was really excited to finally be able to drink. She stood up, tapped her glass to make a toast, and said, "This is my special day, my 21st birthday. Thank you, everybody, especially my boyfriend who pays for everything. No matter what I do, he's still gonna come crawling back to me like the person I raised him to be."
Ooh.
Did it kill? If it killed the room, you can't be upset about it.
I was beyond shocked. I was about to explode, but I kept quiet and stood up and left without cussing, without making a scene, and I just left. When I was at the door to leave, she yelled, "Oh, come on, we all know you're just gonna come crawling back to me."
Did it kill the second time?
When I got to our apartment, she texted me, "Why would you ruin my party because of a joke, you asshole?" asshole, I just sent her 2 words. We're done. And instead, I drove to my parents' house where I slept. I woke up at 11 a.m. with my phone hot as an oven with hundreds of messages from her friends calling me an asshole for doing this to her. She even tried to call me from a different number, but I still didn't budge. I canceled all our shared subscriptions and blocked her friends too.
Jesus Christ.
Now she's posting about selfish people who only care about themselves, knowing she was the one who made fun of me in front of her friends. Now I'm getting messages from her family calling me an asshole for getting mad over a joke. Help me out. What should I do?
Stand your ground.
You have to at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You can't be called the little bitch who's going to crawl back to you no matter what, and then crawl back no matter what. You gotta put your feet in the ground.